Hey guys, it's Thunder and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping safe and well and having a good day. In today's video guys, I'll be continuing on from how to improve each pillar of No Man's Sky. Before I do that, I want to give big thanks to Yorgus, who's a subscriber of my channel. He kindly donated £51 to the channel, and of course this will be going towards the PS5 fund and towards PSN Plus. I just want to give big thanks to Yorgus. It was an incredibly generous donation, my friend, and it means the world that you did that for me. So thank you so much, buddy. I really appreciate it. So in today's video, guys, I will be covering the fight pillar. Now, this was done a little bit differently. Instead of me providing my own personal opinions of what you could improve to the fight pillar, I reached out to the No Man's Sky community via Twitter. So I posted a tweet yesterday asking for feedback from the community and got some incredible, awesome suggestions from you guys. So instead, I'm going to read out what you guys gave me in regards to feedback and my own opinions on that. So the first comment comes from Research Entity Candy Egg. Love the name, so cool. And he says, what I would like to see is weapon wheel for multi-tools, proper dodge mechanics and cam collaboration for first and third person, proper mech combat mechanics, more sentinel variety, proper large scale conflicts between factions, including on planets, new threat in the universe. Absolutely. I definitely feel that we do need a lot more variety in Sentinels. I think the Sentinels we have quite now are they're relatively easy. I mean, if you're early game, yes, they can pose a challenge, but once you're sort of maxed out and if you're a seasoned player, even the Walker Sentinels are relatively easy. So I completely agree with that. I would love to see large scale conflicts between factions and sense of faction system, which would be awesome. I mean, can you imagine landing on a planet which is already going through war and then you could sort of get in the middle of it and then choose a side? I really would like to see that. So great suggestions there. Thank you. The next comment comes from Vader, and Vader says, I think what we need most is more interesting enemies and more dangers to find. More weapons isn't really a thing that necessarily, in my opinion. For dogfighting, I think No Man's Sky should try to go to the arcadey direction in the same way as Star Fox, for example. Yeah, we definitely need more dangers. I think that's what a lot of the community are crying out for, sort of a new enemy threat that will actually pose a threat, as opposed to the enemies that we have right now, which relatively are straightforward to handle, So yeah, no, I completely agree with that, Vader. Thank you for your feedback in regards to that. The next one comes from my guy MZK, and he says, always going to be more challenging fauna for me. Proper scary predators that are genuine threats. Think of biological horrors, but the size of Diplos. Now that would be intimidating. Yep. I mean, again, it's the more dangers that we have, the more threats. It's something that we definitely need. Again, No Man's Sky is a very chilled, ambient game, but at the same time, I think it'd be nice to have the option for a player who does want a challenge and sort of a harder element. Yeah, the biological horrors, I mean, the ones we have right now, they were introduced to the next, and they're very much a welcome one. But again, even if you're sort of not even fully maxed out, you can handle them pretty easily. So yeah, definitely, that's a great suggestion, MZK buddy. Thanks for that one. So the next one comes from Torrance, and Torrance says, harder hitting fauna with noticeable hit locations. Fight and flight mechanics as in a chance to chase foes away. High difficulty optional combat missions. Choose your level at space stations and Nexus. Ability to open comms with foes. Engage in two-way conversations. Torrance, that's I love those suggestions. Yeah, hard hitting fauna, completely agree. I think the fauna we have right now are just, yeah, there's no challenge with them at all. A couple shots if you're maxed out, and you can wipe them out easily. I really do like the optional combat missions. I think what we have right now, we have a sort of element of combat missions when we go to depots and we can blow those up to get the resources, and then we have to fight the Walker Sentinels, but much more challenging ones. I completely agree with that. And open comms with foes, yeah, that is a great idea. I really like that, Torrance. Sort of interacting with enemy pirates, or foes, you can join up with them and take out pirates. I would love to see that. So that's great suggestions, Torrance. Thank you. The next comment comes from Rasmus, and Rasmus says, something bigger and more sinister than Sentinels. They aren't interesting enough as an opponent because they aren't truly intent on killing you. Imagine landing on a planet with opponents that are truly hostile. You would die alone, but have a chance with a fire team. Yep. It seems that we've got a pattern here that we need more enemy threats, and I think that's the trend that's going within the community, that the threats we have in the game right now are no threat. There's no threat from them whatsoever, and we don't sense that we're in any danger. So yeah, Erasmus, great suggestion, so thank you very much for that. The next comment comes from the original Jephus, and Jephus says, I would like to see a faction standing have an effect on things like trade and combat, depending on the mechanics that already exist, rather than adding new stuff. And again, yeah, this was mentioned, by a lot of us, a faction system. Depending on how you play, how you trade, how you fight, it will level up or go down, depending on how you play the game, how you interact with, NPCs, as well as players that are in the game via multiplayer or crossplay. So yeah, I would like to see that. Great suggestion there, Jephus. Thank you for that. The next one comes from Pew, and Pew says, a common enemy that threatens the peace of our universe. Weapons of defense in our bases threatened by this enemy in real time, and able to unite to the confederation or group that organizes the chaos. I really love this comment. I agree. Again, enemy threat. I think that's what we need. A much more meaningful threat that will pose danger to us wherever we are. And I love what you mentioned about defenses for our bases. Like, can you imagine you're chilling in your base, you're doing some farming, and then from nowhere there's about 4 ships that just land right at your base, NPC ships, and they start attacking your base, and you've got, say, defense turrets or some sort of defense system that's there to protect you, and you've got to go and engage with them. So absolutely, buddy, great suggestions. Thank you so much for that. The next comment comes from Truman, and Truman says, more fluid movement in first person. The camera is really janky, the multi-tool's floating with no visible handle animations. So yeah, it's sort of more quality life improvements you would like to see, Truman, and I completely agree with you with that. I mean, at times the movement in first person is certainly janky, and I think there could be some little quality of life improvement fixes for that. And I have also noted the hand animations as well when you're in first person, that it doesn't exactly show. So yeah, some just little tweaks there and there with the animations would go a long way of making it look a little bit more authentic and realistic. So yeah, great suggestions. Thanks, Truman. The next comment comes from Silver Scorpio, and Silver Scorpio says, I would love it if the cockpit was more interactive, like buttons and switches, in addition to the flight stick and throttle and VR. Yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from. I think if you look in the ship, we've got all these buttons, but we can't really do anything with them unless you're in VR and sorts, right? So yeah, maybe you press a particular button and it brings up like a screen of where you can track something or a location of interest. Yeah, absolutely. More interaction with your cockpits would be awesome. So yeah, great suggestion there, Scorpio. Thank you for that. The next comment comes from Facundo Gomez, and Facundo says, so much. We need true dangerous planets with beasts that are challenging to defeat. I'd love to hunt mega aggro beasts with a fire team. I would love to see monstrosities crawling on abandoned stations and crashed freighters. A new sinister force crawling in the verse. So yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to a bigger, harder threat within the game, and I think that's the majority of the No Man's Sky players want. And I agree with you. And I love that idea about the abandoned stations and there's monstrosities there. A little bit like the Alien franchise, on the Solarco, for example, and you've got like an alien on there and it's hunting everyone down, and it's up to you to try and survive with a fire team of sorts. So that's a great suggestion for Kundo, so thank you for that. The next comment comes from Cash Karoon, and Cash says, emergency calls from your frigates on combat missions. You get held while doing whatever, and when you answer you get thrown to the galaxy map. The system where the battle takes place is marked and you choose to engage. It's a real hard boss fight for valuable rewards. Yeah, that's awesome. So you can imagine just flying around in space and then you randomly get an emergency call, and you've got to help out, and engage in some sort of super boss battle, and in return you get an awesome reward for that. Yeah, definitely more interactions with things like that would be awesome. So that's a great suggestion, Cash. Thank you very much. And then yeah, we got the next comment from Ray Reynolds, and Ray says, weapon wheel, adaptive jetpack for dodging, strafing, etc. 4-person frigate combat, 1 pilot, 2 gunners, 1 engineer for repairs, resupply. Multi-swords and melee options, adaptive fauna with biome-specific armor skills, advanced surface air combat, protecting the tower, etc. That is awesome. Yeah, I absolutely love those ideas, Ray. The one that I really think that we want to see is more things to do with our frigates. So going off in missions in our frigates with a fire team, you know, engaging with new hostile enemies, things like that. You know what, as well, Ray? Multi-swords. I want multi-swords. It's even mentioned in the lore of multi-swords. I think it's in relation to the Viking. So I'm sure maybe down the line we're going to get multi-swords. But those are awesome suggestions, Ray. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. The next one comes from Peaceful Gamer. And Peaceful Gamer says, how about actually something to fight? We need a new common enemy that not only poses a challenge when fighting, but be a real threat to what we have created. If Sentinels wipe out any signs of civilized settlements, they should be attacking our bases non-stop. Wow, yeah, I love that idea, buddy. We do need more things to fight with. It's abundantly clear that in the game right now, there is no real sense of threat or danger in the game. And, you know, you could, right now we have bases, right? The options are, you know, we build, we can farm, or, you know, we can farm and then sell our stuff at the bases, but there really hasn't got any more functionality to them. So if they implemented a feature where we could basically be at risk by enemies and be able to defend our bases, that would entice us to stay maybe at our bases and defend it, right? Or maybe hire an NPC to defend our bases, and they're walking around there defending our bases while we're off exploring and so forth. So yeah, buddy, great suggestions. Thank you for that. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who did provide their comments and feedback. I did miss out a few extra comments that you put in, but it's only because of time constraints with the video and my terrible internet service. So I couldn't get everything in, so apologies. But again, put them in the comments down below and I'll read them and respond back to them. But guys, yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well, to my subscribers of the channel, what you guys think and what you would like to see in the fight element of No Man's Sky and what the pillar could be improved on. We know there's quite a bit that needs improving in regards to that aspect. But again, your feedback and suggestions would be appreciated. If you have enjoyed the video, guys, I would absolutely love a like. And if you haven't already subscribed, guys, that would be lovely too. I hope you have a great weekend. You will keep safe. Thunder's going to sign off now. You will take care. Bye-bye.